Hey everyone, in this video we're going to do another short Latin story. This one's called A Crocodile Hunt. Now this story comes from George L. Bennett's Easy Latin Stories for Beginners. Now again, I've mentioned this before with a few of these videos. What Bennett is calling easy Latin stories might not necessarily be what you consider easy Latin if you're a student or a teacher. So I'd encourage you to pre-read this a little bit. There's a little bit of stuff that I wouldn't necessarily think would be for beginners. But again, I usually use these stories close to the sort of mid-range for my students. Latin 2, 3, somewhere in that intermediate range tends to work best. But if you're a teacher, I'd encourage you to pre-read it. If you're a student, give it a shot. If you think you can handle it, read it. And if you don't understand what's going on, move on to a different video and come back when you can, right? But either way, it's just a great way to get a little bit more a variety of stories and of Latin. These go really well if you're using like a textbook as things on the side, just to break away from a traditional sort of curriculum and textbook, just because they're so different and they're fun. A lot of these come from Herodotus, Bennett's adaptations of those, and that's basically what you're seeing here, okay? So what I always do in these videos is I'll start by reading through the Latin for you, just straight through. I'll pause the video and then we'll go through it together. If you want more information on these stories or just see more of them, feel free to go to Nova Latin. I have all of Bennett's stories there. You can check it out and kind of pick and choose whichever one you want. This is from what Bennett is calling Unit 1, which is supposed to be the easier one. He kind of tiers them in 4 sections. So they get harder as you go. But again, it's just a good way to branch out and see some different Latin. Okay. And if you are doing this on your own, I'd encourage you to try to read the Latin aloud. Like I always tell you, practice your speaking, your pronunciation. And if you really want to use it as a learning tool, try to use the read and reread method, right? So read through it once, write down any problem areas you have, check over your list once you're done and try to, fix anything that you see, whether it's vocab, grammar, whatever, and just keep repeating that process and reading the story over and over again until you can get through the whole thing without any, needing any help. That's how you know you're in a good place and you understood what's going on. Okay, so like I said, I'm going to start by reading it to you, and we'll start right there. So the story goes like this: you have venatio crocodiliorum multis atque variis modis instituitor, suis tergus pro esca hamo insertum in medium flumen demitit venator, ipse in ripa fluminis vivum porcellum ferit, crocodilis audita voce ad sonum accurret, in tergus vero suis incidens, illud deglutit moxque interum attrahutor. Intera extracti crocodili oculos luto oblinet venator. Tum facilime interficitur. Okay, so let's pause the video there. Again, my pronunciation is never anything spectacular, but it gives you a chance to just hear the Latin at once. And hopefully it helps you if you have no one to read it back to you. At least you have something to use now, but it's better off having a teacher or another student, whatever you have. But like I said, we're pausing here. If you didn't read through it on your own, go do it. For the rest of the video, we're going to kind of work our way through what this story is all about. Okay? So you start with this. You have the venatio crocodilorum, right? So this is talking about a crocodile hunt. So the hunt of crocodiles, right? Hunting of crocodiles, the venatio, or crocodile hunting, you might say, is practiced instituitor, right? In many and different ways, right? Many and various ways. So multis atque variis modis, right? So in a bunch of different ways, people do this, okay? Then you have this line, the next line, we have suis tergus, right? So a suis is a pig. So it's talking about the tergus of the pig. It's like the skin of a pig is kind of one way to translate this, the hide of a pig. I don't know if that's the right term. But you have suis tergus pro esca hamo insertum in medium flumen demitit venator. So your subject's at the end, the venator, the hunter, right? So the hunter lowers into the middle of a river a pig skin, right? So in medium flumen, right, into the middle of the river, he lowers the skin of a pig, the back of a pig, or I guess the hide of a pig, you'd say, suis tergus, okay? And he does this with or for bait is really what it means, right? So you have pro esca hamo insertum, right? So having fastened it on a hook as bait, right? So you have the idea of him lowering it to kind of lure the crocodile off out of the river, okay? Then you have ipse in ripa fluminis vivum porcellum ferit. So this one, you have he himself, ipse, right? So he himself on the riverbank, on the bank of the river, right? So the ripa fluminis, he whips or kind of hits ferit, a vivum porcellum, a living pig or a young pig, you might say, right? The porcellum is like a little pig, but it's alive, right? So he's hitting a live pig. Then you have crocodilus audita voce ad sonum accurret, right? So the crocodile, hearing its voice, right? Audita voce, right? With the voice having been heard. You have the ablative absolute here. So it hears the sort of scream of this pig getting hit. It accurret ad sonum, it kind of runs or goes toward the sound, right? So that's how you lure the crocodile. So you have the skin of the pig, right, that you've hooked with a well, you've put a hook on it for bait, and then you're hitting a live pig to make the sound. Okay. Then you have intergus vero, suis incidens, illud deglutit, moxque interam attrahitor. So here you're saying, so you have the skin of the pig again, right? So sort of truly, right? The skin of the pig. That one swallows it, right? So illa deglutit, right? And you have falling in, right? The incidens falling in the pig skin, right? So kind of following up to it. It swallows it, right? So it kind of eats it is the idea, right? And soon it is hauled to land, attrahitor interam, right? So the crocodile bites the fake pig skin, thinking it's a real one, right? And it gets caught on the hook and they drag it up to land. Then you have intera extracti crocodili oculus luto oblinit venator. So the hunter, right, the venator, it kind of smears or plasters, however you want to do it, the oblinit, right, smears mud, luto, right, smears, literally you're saying it smears the eyes of the crocodile having been extracted onto land in terra, right? So the pulled out crocodile, it smears its eyes with mud, okay? So it covers the eyes of the crocodile. At this point, the crocodile is still alive. Then you have the last line. You have tum facilime interficitur. So thus, right, or in this way, then, however you want to do it, tum, right, then it is very easily killed. Interficitur facilime, right? So it's very easily killed, meaning it's a lot easier to kill the crocodile. When you've covered its eyes, it can't see, and now it's kind of drawn up on the land. Okay. So again, just a fun little story, something completely different. I know from my curriculum, we don't really read stuff like this. So these are just great breaks to kind of spend on a class or however long you need and read something different. If you have any questions at all on the grammar or the translation, feel free to put it in the comment below. I'm always happy to help. But otherwise, just keep practicing, have fun with the story. And, hopefully the more you read through it, the easier it gets. And you understood this pretty well.